Hey,
Hey, buddy.
am I the first one here?
I'm not getting audio.
Can you hear me? My connection is also really bad, so if I freeze up and stuff, that's why.
I gotcha. I'm gonna let John in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up in a couple minutes and go take a look at something in the kitchen, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know how this happens, man. I try to get all of the kitchen work done, and it does not happen.
Hey, Fane.
Hello.
What's
Hey,
up, John?
you joined the club, man.
Yeah.
I was about to say John's cosplaying is tiny.
Yeah. Well, he needs to add a couple 100 pounds, but then
So I don't know that Brian will join. I saw on Facebook he had some sort of motorcycle accident and like got a big cut on his arm and had to have stitches in the emergency room. So hopefully he's okay. I haven't. He doesn't really respond to text very well. So, but I do have, and Brandon said he was going to be on the road. He's going to try and join. But I do have 3 guests that we would not be the full Bug family without. So I'm going to let all of those guys in real quick.
did you get Kindle?
I did not.
Hello.
Yeah, so I almost asked David if he would come in, but I decided not to and just wait on the surprise.
What's up, fellas?
Hello, gents.
How's everybody doing?
Good to see all you guys. Homie.
Yeah.
Big C.
Yo. David has his mic muted.
It's
There you
true.
go.
I was admiring everyone's backgrounds and how many guitars I'm seeing.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there's the other one.
And books. Yeah. And then I feel like I'm missing a few faces here of Bug.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't know that Brian will join. He had some sort of motorcycle accident and got a gnarly cut on his arm that he had to have stitches for. So I don't know. He doesn't really respond to my texts. I can't really give a full update. I just know what I saw on Facebook.
Okay.
And then
Was
Brandon.
he riding downhill without brakes?
It's quite possible. Although for Brian, he's probably riding uphill. And had full brakes, but still managed to end up on the ground. I think Brandon is on the road with one of his boys for wrestling. He said he would try and join, so I'll let him in if he does hop on. How are you guys, man? David, are you still in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Cool. And Corey and Durham. Brad, where are you?
I am in downtown Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where it all
go. Where it all began and all ends up going back to.
Yep. John and I actually ran into each other a few months ago at the New Chelsea's. We took some trips down memory lane because they have a wall of old posters from shows at the Spanish Moon.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, I never really left. I lived in Lafayette for a couple years and New Orleans briefly, but I've been back in BR since 2011.
Okay.
Somebody had to stay.
Holding it down for everybody.
I got to go to the kitchen real quick. I'll be right back.
Sure. David, what are you up to now?
And I'm leaving the video on for the recording.
I am working at the University of British Columbia doing for short IT support for educational technology. So, you know, when you take a course, often you have the chance to run us or answer a survey about the course. And I am administering those. It's pretty uninspiring, but you know, that's life for me right now. I'm married to a woman from Bulgaria. We've been married 10 years this summer, and we have a 6-year-old boy named Kairos.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I knew about the sun. Did not realize that it had been 6 years, because I think the last time I saw you, you were in Nashville briefly, and we went to
That's right.
Chick-fil-A, and
Yeah, yeah.
he was like months
yeah.
old. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, he's 2 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't think, yeah, he wasn't with me, but yeah, that's right. So I guess it's been, probably 4 years or maybe 5, I guess, since we were down there in Nashville. Of course, COVID's keeping us from traveling much in the States right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And Corey, are you still
Stay
doing?
away.
Yeah. Are you still doing QC?
Yeah, I moved on to quality assurance, which is kind of the same thing, but mostly just pushing around paperwork, making sure our drug's not going to kill anybody.
That's important.
Yeah, I just started a new job with a new company called Liquidia,
Okay.
which is taking like technology from the semiconductor business to make small microscopic drug particles for an inhaled product.
So like the G.I. Joe movie?
Kind of like almost like nanotechnology stuff.
Trying to wrap my brain around it using terrible pop culture reference.
Yeah, still in Durham. I've got an 11 and a 12-year-old, 2 girls we adopted from Uganda like 6 or 7 years ago. Time seems to have flown by. It feels like we just got back with them. But jumped right into parenting. It's been a crazy journey.
That's awesome.
Are they distance runners?
They are. Yeah, they're really good.
You made them follow in your footsteps?
Trying to, like, they're already, I think, probably better than I was when I started. I remember not being able to run a mile on one of those first practices and just walking. But they're like, yeah, they're awesome.
Well, that's cool. I don't think I even ran until freshman year. So they're like junior high, right?
Yeah.
I have no children, so I have no frame of reference when you're talking about ages. Like, vaguely remember, but
yeah. It's also just crazy to think about how fast they've grown up. Time is just flies by.
Indeed.
So John, did you this was your last week of radiation, right?
I have one more appointment on Monday
Okay.
because of Memorial Day
Oh, right.
holiday.
It pushed it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But they just they suspended the chemo like 5 days early because my platelets dropped I guess lower than they wanted. So but I'm finishing out the radiation. So
Sure.
It's good.
And you and I had spoken a couple of weeks ago. You have like future like they might put you back on the chemo pill down the line.
yeah, so the plan is in July I'll start like 5 or 6 cycles of 5 days on chemo, 23 days off.
Gotcha.
And might do that. There's like it goes for 6 months at least, but it could go up to a year.
Okay.
So have you kind of temporarily relocated to Houston for now? Or have you been back and forth or what?
We got an apartment, my mom and dad, because of my seizures, I can't drive myself for 6 months from February 20th. So in August, I'll be able to drive again. But for now, they're driving me to my appointments and such. So we got a temporary apartment that's designed especially for people undergoing treatment.
Yeah, man, you could have come to visit us in Münster. Our apartment there was also set up like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was accessible for anyone with special needs, man. It was awesome. It was a very comfortable place to live. Next time, next time.
Next time, indeed.
John, how far is the apartment from the hospital?
Probably about a 10-minute drive.
Okay. Well, I've been, and I imagine I speak for others on the call here too. Just been very grateful for the updates and been able to keep you in mind,
Mhm.
and prayer throughout the day. But yeah, just been grateful to get the updates and to hear that it sounds like things are going well in the right direction.
Yeah, other than the past, week, it's pretty much gone as expected or better than expected. So I'm grateful for that.
That's good. I did get a kick in one of the comments. Richard was saying he said something about me being in bug. I didn't get back to him and burst his bubble on that one, but I was like,
Hey.
well, I was never actually in bug, but that's great.
Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't either.
You didn't want to actually Mr. Richard on his update?
Yeah. Just a brief moment.
I was
Point
very
of clarification.
Well, I mean, it was Pat Smear wasn't like officially in Nirvana, but he was always around and sometimes kind of in the wings.
Yeah, and he kind of phased in and out of Foo Fighters as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was like 25 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well,
I don't even know sometimes what bands I was playing in, And at my wedding, my dad stood up and said I played guitar, which I
I think that you say that. I think your dad said that I was in bug at your wedding too.
Yeah.
That's a good transition for my one show and tell. And it'll settle. So I do still have this. I do not see David on here. So I think this is the official marker of who was in the lineup, right?
I think that covers it. Yeah.
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 So I didn't actually have to dig this out. This actually sits on my coffee table in my living room. So little nostalgia piece there.
That's
I do
awesome.
like that floating nipple ring.
Right.
There is also a stray mark in my crotch.
Oh yeah, there got some pubes, some realism there. Brandon, not to scale.
I think that was pretty accurate.
That is pretty accurate.
His hair made him taller than he was.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
kind of tell the era from the hairstyles also.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily reflect John and I's, well, John, Brian, and Brandon and I's foray into experimenting with hair bleach. That could have been the after.
My girlfriend actually asked me if I was going to bleach my hair for the call today because she'd seen a couple of those pictures from that brief era.
Yeah.
I just remember going to Brandon and Brian's dorm room, and they were just like, "Hey, we got this. I forget what it was called, like blue lightning or something. I don't know, some like powder." And they're like, "We're gonna dye our hair." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And there wasn't enough to do my whole head, so I just did like the top half, and then woke up the next morning and was like, "Oh crap, my parents are gonna be so pissed." And so I put a hat on and went home, and I rarely ever wore a hat indoors, but I was walking around the house with my hat on still, and my grandmother was like, "Take your hat off." So I did, and she was like, "Did they turn you upside down and just dunk you in a bucket of bleach? Like you couldn't have done the whole thing?" I was like, "They ran out. It's not my fault." So I had to go to Sally's Beauty Supply a few weeks later and finish the job.
Yeah, what was the name of the hair salon that John went to get his dreads?
Oh, mohair.
Yes.
Out off Gardier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Does it still
God.
exist?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they
I hope
closed
so.
a few years ago. because um, my ex-girlfriend Sarah used to go get her hair cut there because it was right next to Baton Rouge Music Studios.
Hmm. So it's no mohair.
Yeah, no mohair.
Which is
Mohair, no
accurate
mo.
considering
Yeah.
the shaped head.
Mohair, no mo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Pick the low hanging fruit there.
Yes.
So let's see. Now that I'm thinking about this, John, I don't know. I don't have a recollection of you ever dyeing your hair.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I
He was
did
pink.
senior year, I think.
Okay, you had pink hair. Okay.
Pink
Yeah.
hair. Yeah.
And it was just kind of like the front tuft of
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why there's the recording of us at the Baton Rouge High Battle of the Bands where I think you call him Pinky and John says Narf into the microphone really loud. I distinctly remember this.
Is this from Pinky and the Brain?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I remember your blue hair or beard, Jonathan,
Yeah. Yeah, but that wasn't real.
and the
That was
Adidas sideburns too.
Yes, that was real. Yeah. That was real. The blue beard was just mascara, essentially. Yeah. So it looked really good and stuff until you did this one time, and then all your hand was all blue and your face looked like crud. Yeah. So it was important to not touch place on your face when you were wearing that stuff. Yeah. The 90s, man.
Well,
Different
it
times.
sounds like a precursor to COVID. Don't touch your face.
These are all lessons we already knew. We just had to relearn them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a kid in high school that like you had convinced that Adidas paid you to do that?
Yes. Yeah, because that was my standard line. I said Adidas paid me $1,000 a week to wear my hair like that. And he was like, "Oh man, how do I do that?" I was like, "First, you got to be able to grow a beard, dude. That's step one is puberty, right? Do that, and then after that, maybe I can hook you up." Yeah.
I'll pass along my contact.
Amanda Bergeron used to always come and say it looked like I got attacked by a bear, and then take her hand and like drag it on my face and go, "Grr, grr."
She married Jonathan Hillman and they had a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I heard that. She and I hung out a lot in college, and then didn't. Yeah.
Sorry.
Sounds like pizza's there.
I wish if I could only eat pizza.
But just instead of using like dough for the base, just get a huge slice of sausage.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. There was my boss in North Carolina told me about this pizza place he always went to in Chicago, and that was their Chicago Lovers Pizza. It said guaranteed sausage in every bite, and he was like, "I wonder how they're going to do that." So he ordered it, and there really was sausage in every bite. So he asked him how they did it. And he said, "Well, let me show you the sausage." And they had this sausage in the back that was this big around that they just cut a slab off of and put it. It was the same size as the dough, and just put that on the dough. That's how they baked it.
And then put everything else on top.
Yes, and then they put everything else on top.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
We need more. We
9 heart
need more
attacks
idea
later,
people like that.
So
Cholesterol in every bite.
yeah.
That's the best type of bite. What are you guys doing?
Corey, you're still in Durham?
Still in Durham. I'm holding it down
Nice.
here.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really changed. Downtown's actually pretty nice now.
It was on the way to being really nice when I lived there. At least parts of it. Yeah.
I had two interesting, well, you can decide if they're interesting. They were interesting to me, Durham experiences in the last few years. One was a podcast out of Duke that I think I had shared it with Jonathan. And you may have to get my naming on it right because it's escaping me, but it was out of basically the documentary studies department out of Duke, and it was on race. And I mean, Well, yeah, we won't. I'm not trying to open up a whole political conversation if we don't want to go there. But I just found the whole thing. It was Scene on Radio is what it was called,
Yes.
like Scene, SCENE. So Scene on Radio, and they had done a number of seasons, and one of them was on race, and I think it was around. It might have been around the time of the Black Lives Matter.
Mhm.
Coming into existence. Anyway, I just found it pretty interesting and compelling to challenge some of my views and get me to think on some new things. So that was cool. But then I came across another podcast, and of course I lived one summer with Jonathan in Durham, and I came across this podcast on near-death experiences, and it's just a whole catalog of the variety of people expressing what they experienced in their near-death experiences. And I mean, you can take or leave whatever, but they're interesting stories, I would say. But it turned out that it's a national organization that studies near-death experiences, and it just turned out that it was like within walking distance from where Jonathan and I lived. Like I
Wow.
went and looked at it on Google. I'm like, oh, this was like streets over. Was this place was located there? And I'm pretty sure they existed while we lived there. But it was just kind of an interesting connection. They're both
That's cool.
podcast related now that I realize it too.
What year was that that you lived in Durham?
Oh, that would have been 2004.
Yeah.
Okay. So just about 2 years before I moved there.
That was
I-
before Corey moved there. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be such a Durham centric podcast. I feel left out. John, have you ever spent time in Durham?
Only visiting.
Okay. All right. So at least two of us have never lived there.
Well, he meant Durham, England, though, Brad. That was.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell a lucid soul story here, but I feel like John, I think we were in Durham when we got the call that the venue in Virginia had been closed.
Oh yeah.
And I think we drove to it anyway, kind of like, well, we don't have anything else to do, and maybe they actually aren't closed, but yeah, they were closed. Like basically it was this thing where we had it booked. I mean, I was going to put it in quotes. We were booked to play there, but then the band who helped us get the show called us or texted, I think, Adam Aber the night before and
Mhm.
said, the venue closed down last night, like for good.
Did you think that they just told you that and that they were getting another band to come? Did they think?
Well,
did you
I think
they
we
were
had
going behind your back to get another band.
we kind of were doubtful about it.
Did
because
they have a more progressive band coming to play there? Is that what you were thinking?
Maybe we can be the opener for the opener now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we drove there and they felt bad for us, so they like fed us.
What did they feed you when they were closed? Like just
Well, I don't
here's
know
the,
if
the fridge is open. Take what you
I'm
want.
trying to remember
America balls.
if it was a
America
different
Balls.
spot, a different spot that we went
think.
to, because we were supposed to play the Nancy Ray Gun.
That was it.
Yeah, but
The Nancy Reagan? I can't imagine why that place closed.
no, it was a
The Nancy
the-
Ray Gun.
That's it.
exactly, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's much better.
It was a little clever portmanteau, I guess.
It
Is that
closed
the
down
right-
and turned into this
the-
raging gay bar called Dick Buttkiss. It's a sports club for gay guys.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think if we ate at the Nancy Ray Gun or a different spot. But yeah.
The restaurant next door saw a group of musicians just standing sadly on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
They thought you were
He looks
bums.
nice.
yeah. They're like,
Something they saw every day prior.
yeah.
Took pity on you.
Probably, I mean, it is Richmond, I guess. So probably not far off.
I mean,
But yeah.
it wasn't like a shelter, was it?
I don't know. Maybe it was.
It's an untapped market of playing, bringing the rock and roll to the shelters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be kind of like Johnny Cash, it'd be just going the other way, before people incarcerate them, getting them ahead. Maybe then you can get the invites to the prisons once the impoverished are put away.
I mean, the musicians and the homeless have a lot in common. We're all begging for money in some way. Will you buy my CDs?
You've all had a van of gear stolen at some point.
Well, I mean, the joke is, what do you call the person who puts $2,000 worth of equipment into
Yeah.
a vehicle worth $500 to travel 2 hours to make $50 for a show?
Right.
A musician.
Yeah. To pay $200 to have permission to play the show.
Yeah, that's true too.
Well, Dave, what's your musical outlet these days?
Actually, I will have to send you all a video because I've been doing, I guess you would call them narrative songs, and it's alternating between a bit of a story and then a sung bit. But I have one in particular that is bug related in that, and we talked about it earlier about the trip to Casey where Corey. Oh, and I see. Well, so you've got Corey, you've got Robert Hart on there. Are you going by Robert?
I think when I'm just so used to using my first name to set up any kind of account
Oh, got it. Okay.
that it just stuck, and I've never changed it.
Okay, but you're
Are you
still going by
seeking
Corey.
medical attention?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had it.
Seeking medical attention.
Sorry.
So anyway, yeah, the story of Corey going down that hill on the bike with no brakes. So I've been developing some of these narrative songs. I can send you all a link once I have one ready.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, I did quite a few of them once COVID started, maybe about 12 of them. I did one for Jonathan's birthday as well. I mean, I definitely, I look back and always admire my time working with John as a producer, because John, you're just so gifted and you definitely have an ear for music. And one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on was the I guess that was Ambivalence, that you produced that one and just did. You helped me understand what a producer actually does, and I've never really worked with a producer since then. But man, yeah, so some of these works I'm just like, oh, it'd be cool to I've got ideas kind of recorded, but they need a producer to come and really finesse them. I mean, actually, Chris, you're quite good too. I remember from when we did the song, the music and the word and music project. Chris, you're quite good at the production side of things as well. I was always impressed with what you produced in that respect.
Thanks, man. I just wanted to grow up and be like John. And I also love, you guys know I love all of you, but I love John for his musical ability. Kind of has always stood head and shoulders above most of the other people that I know. And he produced my first foray into solo music and helped me out editing a lot of that. And then when I moved to Nashville and I made my 5-song EP, what I learned was to listen. Adam kind of challenged me in a lot of ways to not only self-edit, cut, kind of extraneous parts out, but the entire time that I was working with Adam, all I was thinking was, John could do this. John does this all the time. I just need to pull my head out of my rear and listen to him for once. And then when we did the Word Music Project, I really enjoyed that. Obviously, it was taking the game that you and I played, and which pressure came out of. Ended up making a music video for that. That was just you and I playing that goofy game at camp, And then I thought, let's expand it. Let's get more people involved. And there were a lot of really cool songs that came out of that. I need to go back and listen to them again, but I had a lot of fun, and maybe someday down the line we can do that again.
Yeah, I would love that. On that point, as you mentioned that, what comes to my mind is John had I think it was, you may have to remind me here, John. I think it was Munchausen by proxy. I think that was one of your contributions for that.
Yeah. It
So
was.
for the uninitiated, explain to us what the music game or whatever you're referring to is.
So
Yeah, I mean, Brad, I mean, what are we just having this whole conversation without bringing context like that?
yeah, I mean, just figured
Sorry.
you'd have read the material before coming to the class.
It was like the trip to Pensacola.
I may have at some point, I may have known what y'all are talking about and then have just forgotten it.
So
we're old now.
I got there was a kind of a group up band. It's called Mutual Admiration Society, and it's Glenn Phillips from Toad the Wet Sprocket. It was Chris Thiele, and then the Watkins twins or siblings from what was that band's name? The bluegrass band that Brandon loved.
Nickel Creek.
Nickel Creek. Yep. Thanks, David.
Nickelback.
Not Nickelback. Thankfully. And then they had Benmont Tench from he was a keyboard player for
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty,
among others. He's played on a million.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the name of the drummer escapes me at the moment, but anyway, they essentially they played a game. They were playing shows just at this place called Largo in LA, and they would just kind of challenge each other, like, okay, let's pick a word, like just anything out of the air, or like open a dictionary and point, and you've got a week to write a song, not just using the word, but based on whatever that emotion or reaction to that word is. And then they went on tour, started playing shows across the country, and so the time frame narrowed from a week to 24 hours. Like, so right before they went on, they would sit around and play each other that day's song. And so David and I were doing music and being counselors at Camp Feliciana. My mom was running that, and so she nepotism pays off, and she brought us on, and so to keep ourselves moderately sane by being insane trying to write a song in 24 hours, David and I played that game. We gave ourselves that 24-hour time frame, and I think when it was all said and done, we were there for 2 weeks, and then I think there was only one night. I think it was the night we got to go home on Saturday or Sunday night or Saturday night, I think it was, and like do laundry and then have to be back Sunday afternoon. So there was one day, I think we ended up with yeah, there it is. That's awesome. We ended up with 12 or 13 songs each, and some of them like Pressure, still that's probably the one song I can hang my hat on. But yeah, that was all that game. And then a couple years later, I was bored in Nashville, didn't have a whole lot of people to hang out with, and was like, oh, let's all make some music. I was trying to write as much as I could and record it, and I thought it'd be fun to play that game, broaden it back out to the week time frame because everybody was busy. So but I got David and John and Brad. I don't remember if you remember Last Chance Dave, but Dave Brooks lived a few miles from me in Nashville, and we would hang out occasionally. And Andy Venuto also participated for a couple of the weeks. I think he had some things come up and he wasn't able to submit the last couple of weeks, but we played for 5 weeks. And we also, for the Word Music Project, brought in a couple of friends that did like graphic design, like Will and my friend John Hooten, and Jeremy Johnson. But we would give them the word, and they would create essentially like an album cover. So we ended up with 5, EPs based on one word, and a lot of the stuff's really fun and really good. I'll double check, but I think the Bandcamp is still up, so you can listen to all of that. In fact, let me check on that right now. I'll let somebody else talk for a while.
I was trying, I was in the process of trying to look it up there, and I just didn't remember where it was housed, but I think you're right, it's in Bandcamp. Last time I
Yeah.
looked, maybe within the last few years, it was there. So someone can share a link if he finds it. But yeah, it was a neat creative project, and
If you guys can't find it, I'm pretty sure I have the songs written somewhere.
Yeah, it is there. I'm gonna link, I'll put it in the chat and you guys can check it out at your leisure.
Yeah, so I didn't realize we were doing show and tell today, but I mean, I just found this thing.
Oh, nice.
This is probably like the only copy of it.
I don't have that.
Yeah, this was Brian wasn't even in this show.
What
Yeah,
was it?
Ray played Jimbei.
Ray played at BPC. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it in the gym or?
No, it's in the
the
Naylor
cycle?
building.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Was
Yeah,
that
I don't know if I was at that show.
was that before or after the very well received acoustic show that y'all played at my girlfriend's birthday, but it was like -1,000,000 degrees, and so your fingers froze? Do you remember that? It was like under her parents' carport.
Yes, she was a Klein Peter, right?
You got it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
down
Yeah. I think this must have been after that.
I think it was after that, and I think we had to take breaks during that show to like go stand next to something like a heating source of some
Yeah,
sort.
there was
Yeah.
like a chimney or something. You
Yeah,
had to, like,
yeah.
put your hands on.
That was the show with the blue beard. I think there's pictures of me playing a blue acoustic bass with a blue beard, and the hat that my mom made for my dad before they got married. This blue hat with like a dingle ball on top. Yeah. Yeah, man, I have all kinds of treasures, like boom.
Ooh.
And I have all the illegal copies here, Stand Up Citizens. It's probably the only copy still in
Oh,
existence.
yeah.
Yeah, our well-known album Gigaware.
Yeah, there you go. Soup Named Stew Varsity.
I still have the of working CD of the Soup Named Stew album. I didn't bring it out for show and tell, but
This one?
is that the one with the lawn chair song and Bowling State of Mind? That's the
I
one
think
that
I think that's the one before that.
well, this does have Bowling State of Mind on it.
the one I have, it has the yes, no, maybe like
Yeah.
thing
Yes.
on it. On
Yeah, I have that one too. It's probably in here. Let's see. No, it's not in that case.
Jonathan is an
is-
archivist at heart.
Yeah.
Live
Yeah.
at KLSU, a Soup Named Stew. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Like I say, if you're missing stuff, the odds are I have it on a hard drive around here somewhere, like in between folders of like old porn or something. I
You
don't
know,
know.
I have reached out to some of you guys before, because I think at one point I was looking for album artwork for Between Fences. I don't know if I ended up ever finding that or not. I'd have to. Oh, I have my drive here to find out. But
I think I actually have that here on my computer.
now, where did that picture come from?
I was
I'm
just
trying to remember.
thinking we were at, I took, I was in BR a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, and I just surprised Brandon at work. And we went up into the loft where we used to practice, and it's all cleared out, still nothing there. But I took a picture and was going to share that, and of course, didn't think to. But this is back when we used to practice there, and we were practicing leading up to, going in to make the record with, I don't remember that guy's name, the played keyboards for
It was
LaRue,
Nelson, maybe?
Blanchard.
Nelson
Yeah,
Blanchard.
Nelson
That's right.
Blanchard. Mhm.
And we were in, I don't know why we were in there, but we were in Charlie's office just shooting the bull. And there was a book on his shelf of just like old fences, like it was the girls in that enclosure, like sitting at the table or whatever. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it's like we're surrounded by fencing material. We're, playing all these songs, but none of them have to do with fences, but let's use this. I think I had more to do with that decision than I probably should have in retrospect, but it got made. And we were all like super concerned that if that publisher or somebody found out, like sued us for using a copyrighted image.
Yeah, there is a note.
Yep, we lost Robker.
I think on there that we did. Am I back?
Yep, there you are.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my internet connection is rubbish. Like it's seriously bad. When we try to stream videos or something, we start it and we have to wait like 2 minutes buffers, and then we can watch stuff.
And
we live in
that's
six,
after
and I'm simultaneously trying to download my bug zip files from my online drive, because I think I have all of the stuff in there.
Your internet's still bad after they finally came and installed what it was they were going to, because the last time you were using like cellular.
Yeah, my cellular data is way better than my landline. My cell data is 4G plus. It's awesome, but using it on calls like this eats through it pretty fast. If this does turn out to just really blow though, and we're talking for a while, I can fire up my phone again. It just makes it tougher for me to see you guys unless I run my computer over my phone, but I can do all that. Yeah.
Well, I know
I'm
there's
a
some
digital scholar these days, so
there's some time constraints. I know John said he can't necessarily stay on much more than an hour. And me being that we're missing a couple of people, I don't expect you guys to sit here all day. Although it'd be great. I've got the time. I've got nothing going on if you guys want to hang on for quite some time. But
I was told that we were going to perform the entire catalogs of both Bug and A Soup Named Stew.
right.
David Lodi solo material and Lucid Soul mixed in for like an encore. Is that not? Was I? Or did we wait till we get everybody?
I gotta stop sending Zoom requests after I've had a few. Over promise, under deliver.
I actually, so I learned those piano parts for nothing. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling. Yeah.
No, Brad, you and I, we're going to do a Lucid Soul tribute album, A Crack in the Ass.
Which that is a fine album.
That's why we're going to tribute, man.
It's good, and it's funny because unfortunately what Jonathan just shared is seared into my mind when I look at that album. But I mean, the album is so good. It's just one of the finest things.
Are you saying my crack is seared into your mind when you think of that?
Absolutely.
The title, A Crack in the
I think you have to limit your tribute to like the kazoo and a recorder. Like those are the only instruments to be played.
I do remember Jonathan had an idea, I think, once of recording an album. I don't know if this was intended to be a Bug project or what, but yeah, Jonathan had the idea of basically recording an album where everyone's recording in separate studios at the same time. But you might have to correct me here, John. I think the idea was they couldn't hear each other.
Well, I mean, that would be one way. That's the advanced student way to do it. I mean, that's the Kaiser Bill way to do it, man. It's just like whatever. Just have people you don't even know. Just be like, whatever. You play the drums, man. Just lay down a track. It'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll fit it in.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Don't worry. Yeah, I think that was the last time I played bass. Yeah, it's in the basement, and I have an amp and stuff. Finally, it took me. I think I lived here maybe 12 years before I got an amp. So, you know, it takes time. And probably the next 50 years, I'll try and play again. If the pace continues. So I swear every day I'm going to go to the basement and get my bass and my amp and put them in my office so that when I want to tool around, I can. But it has not happened yet.
All right. Well, next time we're on the call together, I want to know that that's happened.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I've gone over to doing instead is when I'm using my electric toothbrush to brush my teeth, I can mimic Thundercat tracks. That's about as good as I can get. You know, like I am like I'm really good at them changes, man. Like that song, I can rock that on the electric toothbrush. Like, yeah.
I think
like,
you know
that's legit.
you might have found your YouTube monetary stream right there.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know
so
there's
Thundercat is weird enough online that he would probably actually like link to that and it could turn into a whole thing. I mean, like,
Yeah.
You know, I mean, YouTube is a weird world.
you can go down a rabbit hole pretty quick. I know there's the musician Thundercat, but I immediately thought of like the 80s cartoon. Like I was just thinking like Lion-O and Panthro and the whole bit. And I thought you were like while you're brushing your teeth, like dun 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 dun.
no, man. I can I can lay down them changes. I'm pretty good at it now. Yeah.
Chris, do you have a link to the Pressure video? I assume I have seen it, but I don't recall.
I do. Hang on one second. Let me.
It shows up in
Chris
my
is looking for
YouTube
that-
recommended feed
I'm sorry, what was that, Jonathan?
periodically. It shows up in my YouTube feed periodically.
Nice. I was also interested, I mean, obviously, John, you have health concerns that are at the highest priority of your life right now. So with that caveat, I'm also interested in knowing, I'm understanding that you're working, is it the Manship Theater where are you running sound there or?
Yeah, so my previous title was assistant director of production. So what I did is basically the office work was advancing the shows. So going through the contracts and making sure that we had like the right labor and equipment ready for them for the artists that we got, and then just like maintaining the space. And then when we would have shows where they requested you know, a front of house mixer or a monitor mixer, sometimes I would do that as well.
And then
Tiny beat me to it.
oh, thank you both, Jonathan and Chris. Thanks. I'll look forward to checking those out. I'm also just wondering, is Lazarus Heart still creating or?
Well, yeah. So we have like 2 records that are unfinished.
Okay.
So there's some overlap in the 2 different records. So some of the songs are on both, but yeah, about 3 years ago we kind of shelved it, like just for like, you know, our priorities changed, you know, to kind of like more adult things, unfortunately. But that's one of the things that I really want to kind of pursue aggressively, you know, since my diagnosis, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of just go ahead and finish everything, you know. I had to kind of like take long-term disability for the situation. So I'm actually like in between jobs, but I mean, with the caveat of like that, I'm sure that they'll take me back, but like
Okay.
to try and make sure that there's still like revenue coming in.
Yeah.
I had access to those like funds
Yes.
through the long-term disability insurance. So I just went ahead and did that. So
Yeah. I mean, those are tough decisions, but I imagine that I would do similar in your situation,
Mhm.
No,
So
I
that, sorry, David, I wanted to ask another question about Lazarus Heart is that's with Cave, right?
yeah, Cave and Jermaine Butler and Drew from Last Chance Dave, actually.
Okay, and is Cave isn't he involved with that that new barcade in some capacity?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's one of the
yeah.
owners.
Yeah, he's one of the owners. Yeah.
And that place is
Yeah.
super cool.
Chris,
And-
did you get to swing by when you were in Baton Rouge?
Yeah,
I saw
John.
that.
John and I went and hung out there when I was there, and it's super fun. They have like their cocktails are basically named after video game characters. There's one like Kirby and Donkey Kong, and I can't remember some of the other one. I think they rotate them anyway, but
Red
yeah.
guy from Contra, blue guy from Contra.
right. You know what they should do is the cheat code from Contra, like what is it, up, down, down, A, B, A, B.
It's
Like
the
that.
Konami code.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that should be the name for the drink. And every time somebody has to go up and order it, they have to say it right, or they don't get their
like
drink.
one.
No, you say it right. They give you 30 of them on a platter.
But yeah, everything's free to play except the higher end pinball machines. But yeah, it's super cool. You just walk in, start playing NBA Jam, it's very cool.
You pay a cover after happy hour, it's like free entrance. And then afterwards you pay like $10 to free play.
Okay.
For the full night.
That's probably a better business model than what we experience, just like walking in and playing.
Oh yeah. I
and
mean,
do they have music there? Live music, I mean?
no, it's just a bar and arcades.
It seems like they should get the mini bosses to play there. Are you familiar with that band?
No.
I mean, it was a band that they just played video game covers. Like they actually did the Contra theme. I mean, they did
Awesome.
a really good job of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sweet.
Yeah.
Old punk band from like turn of the like late 90s, early 2000s called Ozma. I don't know if any of y'all ever stumbled across them, but they did an awesome cover of the Tetris theme. That was like 20 years ago. I saw them open up for Weezer in like 2000 or 2001, and they played a memorable recreation of Tetris.
That's awesome.
Little fun fact. Yeah, that arcade for the uninitiated out of town, it's basically next to Baton Rouge High. That little stretch of buildings right before you got to Ogden that was pretty much falling down for most of the 90s and 2000s has been totally like renovated and redeveloped. And it's in that little stretch on Government.
Yeah, it's super cool. I had a really good time hanging out there.
Awesome. I will prioritize it. Well, one other thing before we get too far afield too, Dave, when you ask about the manship, that it is really like they get some legit shows there now. That place has been I don't know, John would maybe know more about like kind of the timeline. I mean, there's always been like the outlier, but I feel like the last few years, like right a couple years before COVID, and then again since things have reopened, just the consistency and quality. They're getting some. Chris, the Toad the Wet Sprocket played there.
I'm aware. John sent me the poster before it was even announced.
Okay, yeah, I saw Todd Snyder there right before COVID. And they have, but they just have all kinds of like band of Band of Heathens, is that what they're called? Just lots of really, really top flight stuff goes through. John's worked some cool shows. I don't know if he wants to brag on himself, but I will. So
Yeah, I think Dawes is coming up pretty soon too. If y'all are into that band, um, they're really good too. They played with Jason Isbell. Like we actually had Jason Isbell there a few years ago, before he was too big, probably. But they've broken. Like I mean, they've had a lot of bands that went on to get really popular as well, and then some kind of like as their career is sort of sunsetting, like they've come, we've had a lot of those artists as well.
Love, for example, he played there recently.
And then we had Colin Hay not too long ago, who's like had like they've had him pretty regularly over the years, but he's doing like solo stuff, since Men at Work. And then the Zombies, that was like the last thing that I worked. That was really good. But yeah, definitely like a great venue to see, because it's 325 seats. So it's very intimate no matter where you're sitting. But like, I think that they just in the last, like, 5 years, or I would say maybe 10 years, they've started to realize that like, even though the space wasn't designed for concerts necessarily of that scale, but that was like where their niche was, like, because like otherwise it'd be hard to make a 325 seat venue like really successful, so that they kind of found their niche. And it's been fun to kind of like mix and do production, mainly because like I was always annoyed when I was working a show and it wasn't together. So it's like, oh, if I can have control over that, then I can make sure that everything's there.
Yeah, I'm sure that getting you involved leveled them up quite a bit.
I'd like to think so, but I don't know. I guess I'm passionate about it, so.
Unfortunately, I'm way out of live music, out of the scene, man. The last time I was at a live music venue was at the Hot Jazz Club in Münster, and I saw Tony Levin and the Stickmen. No, that's not true.
Cool.
That's not true. I saw King Crimson. I saw on one weekend, I saw Dream Theater and King Crimson in Berlin. That must have been the summer of 2019, I think. Yeah, that was a hot weekend, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because at the King Crimson show, it was outdoors in this old castle, like in the grounds, and you were not allowed. Like security would escort you out if you pulled out your phone, or were like raucous and stuff. Like even between songs, there was no applause or anything. It just went constant, one thing into the next.
Oh, nice.
And at the end, they announced at the beginning of the show, at the end, there will be time for photographs and stuff. Once this is all over and we've all enjoyed the moment, then we can come and we can, take the picture to put online and all this kind of stuff. But, there was this one woman who got up and was like dancing really weird in one of the aisles, and security just like came and talked to her for a second. And then she got kind of aggressive and they just like picked her up and took her away. It was awesome. Yeah. It's a great show. Yeah.
That's neat. That's definitely one of the King Crimson is definitely a band that I have on my bucket list to see.
Yeah, they made it onto mine. That's actually also thank you. Both of those bands, John, I know because of you. So funny enough, man. That was Dream Theater. We used to listen to Falling Into Infinity, which I think is the album that Dream Theater fans don't like. We used to listen to that all the time. And then at some point in college, I think I just started buying everything that they made. And then King Crimson was the same. Crimson was like my grad school band. When I started in grad school, I just started picking up all their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely cool stuff.
Yeah.
Adrian
I'll
Blue.
definitely introduce me to
Nashville.
Dream Theater.
What was that?
I said one of y'all definitely introduced me to Dream Theater.
Yeah. I remember because they had the singer for King's X
Mhm.
on Falling cameo on Falling to Infinity. I think that's how I first got into it. But they had, you know how WBRH does the I guess they do the yearly sell-off of some of the promos.
Yeah.
That's how I got my copy of Falling to Infinity. I
That's
think it was
hilarious.
just like Rob was like, "Here you go," and I
Hey,
didn't.
you have long hair. This must be for you. Yeah, look, here you go. Bam. Burned copy. Dream Theater. Falling into Infinity.
Yeah.
Man, you came prepared.
Rob, are you clairvoyant? Like you had your stack, you knew what we were going to
Like-
talk about. And,
No,
Yeah.
actually, I went and got this after you got out that picture. I went and picked all of this up.
okay, all right.
Yeah. I have legit copies of the Dream Theater stuff too, in case, you know, like somebody from the record company wants to come get me, you know. Like,
Hey man, I'm still trying to avoid that publisher for stealing the album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do have that, but I cannot find it. I couldn't find it, but I know I have it somewhere, man. I the last time I was at my parents' house, I cleaned out all of like my memory boxes and this kind of stuff, and it was all in there. Everything.
I think I have a couple of physical copies. If you're wanting that, I've got that, and then I've got a ton of the Kaiser Bill CDs that we burned, with Jonathan sitting on the Toad and whatever the other one was. Yeah, I ended up with just a stack of those somewhere. They're in a box in the garage. I'll dig for them if somebody's interested.
Yeah, I think I have some of those too. Oh, can I not put snap? I can't just drag and drop here. Let's check this out. Boom. Okay, now it's gonna take me all day to find this. So I just totally had it, and now it's gone.
Well, gentlemen, I have to say goodbye. It
All
was,
right,
it was
buddy.
great. It's great hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, man, it was good to see you.
Yeah. Hopefully next time I'll be back in Baton Rouge, kicking it.
Yeah, and hopefully next time we get the other two when they have slightly less busy lives. But you guys were awesome for carving out some time. I'm willing to hang out if you guys are, or if
Yeah.
you guys want to get to your day. We can certainly do that as well, and schedule another one of these in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit longer.
Okay.
And next time we need to try and get Kendall and Jonathan Nestor too.
Thud. Yeah.
John, it was great to see you, man.
Hey, y'all too. Thanks for doing this.
Of course, man.
Take care.
All right.
Just to catch up with you guys, man.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
All right, buddy.
John.
See you.
Later, man.
Hey, man, good seeing you.
I've only got a few minutes left myself, but we got breakfast going on here, but just to flag that.
I told my family to start dinner without me.
I probably got like 10, 15 minutes before I have to bounce. But total coincidentally, Brandon is actually about to put a new fence in my mom's backyard, so I'll probably run into him. I'll give him a little nudge to like make sure that he's on the next one.
Nice.
But I'll have a chance to relay what was discussed here today to him in person, I think, when he's like measuring my mom's backyard next week.
Nice.
You are the ambassador, the bug ambassador, Brad. That's
I will
so good.
I will go forth and spread the word. Yes.
Just before we take off, I should have mentioned this when John was still there, but somebody mentioned something about birthday. Corey's got one coming up, so happy early birthday to Big C on the 7th here this week.
All
Tuesday,
right.
right?
Happy birthday, Big C. And
Yeah.
coming in right behind you, I'll be hitting the big 4-0 the following week. So
Nice.
Yeah, well, happy early birthday to you too, man.
I've got 2 weeks in my left in my 30s.
Yeah, you've only got a little bit longer to enjoy not getting a back sprain while trying to put soap in areas you don't normally get to.
Tie my shoes. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, that would be a big move. Like I get muscle sprains from like yawning too hard. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I get those too.
yeah, it's bad.
We're getting older.
Yeah. Although I'm healthier than I've been in a long time. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Of
You
course,
look,
that's always good.
Yeah.
well, y'all were talking about, you mentioned Nestor and then like, expanding. What about all the groupies? Now are we gonna invite that was why I went to the Buck shows. I don't know.
Do you mean the dude in prison? Like we were talking about, I guess Chris mentioned last time that there's apparently one guy who was like really into us in Kansas City.
Andrew Conrad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was in the Clink last time I saw something.
Okay.
I mean, like what other groupies? Who are you thinking of? Are you thinking of particular people or?
No, I just there were always girls at the shows, so
I'm
Yeah,
wondering if
that
you
does
want to
happen.
reach out to the guys in Stick Chap and see if you can.
Yeah.
Compare
So I
notes.
used to be in contact with Joshua Nee a little bit.
I
periodically I hear stuff from him.
yeah, I still talk. I probably run into Josh and talk to him like once or twice a year. I had not seen Kristen Diablo for many years, but I actually ran into her like 2 weeks ago at a mutual friend who like went back to school late in life and graduated from college and had a little get together. So I ran into Kristen. Yeah, we could organize like a lineup, I'm sure. Yeah, you guys could whenever y'all do your real reunion show, I'll work on getting some opening acts for you. Just let me know.
We all have to get on stage with like a walker.
Yeah, I'll book the talent, and John will make sure that there's sufficient like mic cords and everything. He'll handle the production side of everything.
Well, Chris, actually, on that note, I feel like you are one of the ones who wins the prize for taking the stage with Kaiser Bill, like within
I thought the
hours
exact
after
same
an
thing.
appendectomy.
Oh, right.
In a Bill Clinton mask, nonetheless.
No, and wait,
In
in a full
suit.
suit. Yeah. Oh, dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It was probably the pain pills. And I had to sit down the whole time because it was too painful to stand. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that show was ridiculous. I just heard the other bands were so mad at us because there were so many people there who were like, yeah, dude, I want to buy a CD, but I want to get a beer and I can't afford both. I was like, okay, we got a fridge of beer in the back for the band. Here's a beer, buy a CD. And so we totally took all of the beer for the bands and just gave it out to friends. And there was none left for the others. That was hilarious. Yeah.
They're probably on a call right now discussing that. And then we played at the varsity and that band gave away our beer.
Bunch of
That
assholes.
horrible band. What were those guys called?
Kaiser William or something.
Yeah. Prince Alfred, I think. Yeah.
I went
Crazy
to
time.
law
was also
school.
20 years ago.
I went to law school with Will's stepbrother. We made a weird because he was like, I met someone in law school who had seen Soup Named Stew. That was an unexpected connection.
Are you practicing law?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
great. How's that going?
I love it, man.
Oh, cool.
I've been doing it for 12 years now. I graduated law school in 2009. So yes, indeed. I'm one of the lucky ones. I represent regular people. I basically sue insurance companies all the time and try to, That's what I do. I argue with insurance companies and their attorneys.
Sweet. I got some names for you.
Of,
Do you do international?
I'm only licensed to practice law in Louisiana. I'm useless to the rest of the world.
Thanks to the,
Right.
is it the Napoleonic Code or something?
That is a true fact that we have some differing legal things, but that's overblown. The vast majority of our legal system is similar to every other state's. It's really just like
that money buys everything.
there's certain areas like property law mostly where we have some like differing concepts, but that I think that's like sort of a conventional wisdom that Louisiana attorneys don't try to correct because they want people to think that we're like somehow smarter or like
Oh, funny.
special than we actually are. But it's really, you know, you guys, y'all are, I'll tell you the truth. It's not really that big of a deal.
But,
Okay.
I once heard that did actually lead to, I think Louisiana, at least it used to be, maybe it's not anymore. It was the state with the highest number of lawyers per capita in the U.S. More than anywhere else.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. It wouldn't, I mean, we have 4 law schools.
I mean, it was, this was like 30 years ago. I mean,
I don't know. But yeah, man, most people, I won't say most lawyers hate their jobs, but not a lot of lawyers like what they do, you know? And I have had law jobs. I used to work for basically like multinational oil companies. That was when I first came out of law school, and you just take whatever job you get so you can start paying back your student loans. And that I did want to like jump out my 9th story window every day. Like a lot of lawyers have jobs like that, but yeah, man, I dig it. I just represent regular people in South Louisiana. Most of my cases are in Baton Rouge or Lafayette, the I-10 corridor. So,
Oh, that's great.
Are you, you said you're dealing with insurance companies, is it for like auto accidents or?
a lot of it is auto accidents. It's mostly personal injury stuff. I mean, we'll do like random property claims or just occasionally like successions, like if somebody's grandma dies and they need somebody to, you know, I'll basically the few things that like a normal person would need a lawyer for. And my partner, he does like DWIs and like small scale criminal defense as well. Basically the only times you know, when does a regular person need an attorney in their life? If they get arrested, if they get divorced, or if they get in a car wreck. And so
or
that's
all 3 at once.
yeah, we have actually had at least one client that we have represented on a divorce, a DWI, and a car wreck.
On the same day?
No, not on the same
No.
day, but over the
That would've
course
been hot.
of his lifetime. And so we basically will do all that, although thankfully we don't have to, we have got enough of our feet on the ground foundation that we just send out all the divorce cases now. So I don't have to deal with that anymore. I could theoretically, but there's plenty of good divorce attorneys that need work. And so if you call me and you're like, hey, I'm getting divorced in Louisiana, I'd be like, I'll give you some names. They'll take care of you. Same with pretty much anything else. So if any of your family or friends ever have legal needs, I will know where to send. Like, unless it's a car wreck, I probably wouldn't be the person to represent them, but I will know who to represent who. So feel free to reach out anytime. And you're like, hey, they're having this legal issue. I'll be like, this is the guy, this is the gal that will treat you right. So,
Do you know Carl Ludwig by any chance?
I do, man. I run into Carl every once in a while.
Yeah, he's a lawyer too now, isn't he?
He is. He came out the other side. He's doing great, or he was the last time I saw him. I mean, he's been clean and sober for like at least a decade now. So.
Oh yeah. It's been a while. Yeah.
I've kind of aged out of the young lawyer kind of, there's more of those like cocktail parties and happy hours and stuff when you're in your like late 20s, early 30s. So that's the kind of stuff I would like run into Carl at. But yeah, we always get along when we run into each other.
Yeah. Well, if you see him again, say hi.
Wait, he was with y'all. He was in it was you, Chris, and him. Y'all are 3 of the 4 McKinley Middle bassists, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Carl play too? Yeah.
Yep.
In that tool
And,
bag, Michael Mong. Yeah.
Michael Mong. Yeah. That's right.
He was in 4th place on my cool list of that base.
You're
You don't
dealing
have
with
to
it.
lie just because 2 of us are here, Brad.
And then Jonathan and I were trying to form a bass, an upright bass trio with Dave Henson, our teacher. And then you and I showed up to that coffee shop, and he totally
Bean
left us
tree,
hanging.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because I think all we were supposed to do is stand there and play the E string
Right.
all night.
And he was just going to solo above whatever we were
Yes.
playing.
Whatever we droned, that was
Right.
And then he was just gonna solo, yeah. And then he didn't even show. That was awesome.
I give him crap for that every time I see him. And I haven't seen him in a while, but he's probably knock him down a peg or two. But I see he was doing, I think they called it adult music club,
Yep.
where they were just getting kind of people our age or older just to start playing. Hi.
I don't know if hello. I don't know if they got that back up after COVID or not, but
Right.
he was my neighbor until recently. But he and his wife sold their place in Spanish Town and moved over by where you grew up, actually, Chris.
Yeah, in
the
Broadmoor.
house over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people Brad might know, you know who reached out to me when I first moved to Tucson? Rusty McRae. He just out of and now he's going by Sean now.
Right.
And I when he texted me, he was like, "Hey, this is Sean McRae." I was like, "Who the hell is that?" But I finally figured it out, and we were supposed to go grab a drink, and then he had offered to help us move into our new house. And of course didn't show up, but then COVID, 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and I haven't seen or talked to him since, but
That's a random. This is a guy that grew up around the corner from me.
he went to Broadmoor Presbyterian. He was in youth
Okay.
group. He
I
used
didn't know
to
you church stuff with y'all. Okay.
Yeah, he used to give my dad everlasting hell, just grief all the time, anything from hiding, if my dad set his keys down somewhere, he would take them and put them in the bathroom, or never called him, he just always called him Harry instead of Harold. My dad was always just oh my God, these guys. Him and I can't remember, Mark Hinojosa. Him and Rusty were just like this.
I am Miriam.
Hi, Miriam.
Yeah.
Hello.
I know.
You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hey,
Hey.
How you doing? Do you know who
He's
else
out.
lives in Tucson? Does I think Jen Patrick lives in Tucson, or at least she did.
Which
Jen Patrick. Did I cut out?
No,
Yep.
you're here.
I heard you.
Does anybody know what's up with her, or have you heard anything about her from her? The last I heard, she was in Tucson, but that's been a while. She used to always post, my friend Jen, honey, you don't know her. She used to post stuff on Twitter a lot that would make me want to respond, and then realize I shouldn't because I wouldn't be kind.
Yeah, I think
But
that
I think she-
sums up my relationship with her.
Yeah. She would retweet stuff from Matt Gaetz and stuff.
Oof.
But I haven't seen, since COVID hit, I haven't seen anything from her. I don't know if that means anything, but it was usually only during football season she'd post stuff anyway.
When we're all in our right minds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she always had to post stuff about Auburn,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's an Auburn or Alabama fan. I can't remember.
I,
one of the-
it's the same school. I don't even know.
Right,
Whatever.
right.
This is Corey. Yeah. Yeah, he has girls too. Yeah.
I have 2 girls.
Yeah. He has 2 girls.
Who's my youngest?
Yeah. Hi. 10.
Hello.
Did you
Tindo.
say she's 10 already?
Well, she's 11 now.
11 now. Oh
Her,
my
her name is Tindo.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Tindo.
sorry, the signal cut out.
I haven't seen Tendo since she was probably 6.
Yeah,
You were much smaller last time I saw you.
so tall now.
Yeah.
I've seen you before.
Yeah, we met Mr. Chris at Nashville.
Yeah. It's been a while. I don't take offense to you not remembering me. But
We
you've
don't
grown
know
up
who
so
he
much.
is either. He just invited us to this call and we just signed on. I've never seen him before either, so it's all right.
I just got an email.
What do
You're
you guys
supposed to
think
click on any link you get, right?
Yep,
Yes.
that's the rule of the internet.
Okay.
The only
Yeah,
rule.
so there actually is someone. I could steal his identity. I'm pretty sure. There's a Jack Robker. I think he lives in Indiana, and he thinks his email address is my email address. So I get lots of stuff, like even sensitive data and stuff for him gets sent to me periodically because he doesn't know his email address. And you know, the problem is I would like to email him and tell him to stop doing this, but I don't know what his actual address is.
You just
So-
be emailing yourself.
Yes. So like I have sent some of these companies and stuff. I just said like, yeah, like please tell this guy that this is not his address. And if he wants me to steal his identity, then he should just keep sending this stuff here. That's fine. But I really don't need his banking records and stuff. You know.
But man, does he buy a lot of crap.
Yeah. Well, you should see the mailing lists and stuff he's on, man. It's ridiculous. We'll see.
All right, gang. I gotta bounce.
Yeah, I think I was just told as well that we need to eat dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, guys,
Really good to see you all. Thanks for putting this together, Chris. I'd
Yeah,
love to
absolutely,
be part of
man.
a future
Awesome.
conversation.
I will invite all you guys next time around, and hopefully we get the other 2 in, so we can see them and catch up with them too. But y'all have a great, well, Robker, you have a great rest of your Saturday. Rest of you guys have a lot of day to look forward to. So hope you have a good one, and tell your families I said hi.
Will do.
Sounds great.
See you guys.
I speak two
Yeah.
Languages, English and German.
languages, in
Yeah.
German and in English.
You know?
Well, Miriam, that means you are way smarter than I ever will be. Keep it up, kiddo. All right. See you guys.
Better
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Guys.
Right.
Now this dog is on the